Dallas told me about you. You must be as hard as diamonds, and you're divine.
The divine you thought dead lords over the chamber from a granite throne. He moves to speak, but it's Riedmund's voice that next pierces the air.
What a twist.
Lucian frowns at...
I underestimated you, Godwoken. You have proven to be a formidable...
Respect?
Lucian's gaze...
Lucian?
Yes.
Dallas nods. Then a skull is revealed.
I am.
Aren't they just full of surprises?
Fear not, Godwoken.
I shall tell you, long ago, the Scholar Fane discovered that...
Of course.
Silence. Our king forbade the Seven to reach for this power, but...
With the source they stole from the Veil, the Seven created the races so they would have worshippers.
During their lives, worshippers collect souls.
Our souls are nothing but vats for the source-hungry gods.
The Seven made a mistake.
The Seven's lust for power. When we are done, there shall be no more source in the world.
My people cannot be allowed to return.
There is more.
I was a child when the God King taught. It was hell. A hell. The cruel joke of it all is that the same tomb that housed my tortured body is what sheltered me from the void. Fane. Yes. Fane. You are my...
Dallas gives you a steady look, cool and collected. This is your daughter. You are her father.
Your child. Look at us! We are all that remains! But now I have revenge. Revenge on the Seven and the God King. Revenge for what they took from me. My life. My people. My mother!
The Hammer's voice falters at her coolness.
Did you even look for me? Did you even look for her?
Dallas, control yourself.
Yes.
Dallas's reasons weren't mine to question. All that ever mattered to me was...
You wish your actions led you have but one path to atonement. She sacrificed. She didn't do it willingly, mind you. Curiosity led her to... And then I took her place. Face rippers are such marvels, aren't they? It didn't take long.
While Dallas...
Slurp.
One more word from you.
I had to hide from the gods. As divine, I was created.
Maggot.
With a flick of her wrist,
Don't worry, he's well under control.
Dallas punctuates her statement with another wrist flip.
Yes, in a sense. To strengthen himself, he sent his Voidwoken. The remnants of my people to...
The Voidwoken. You see,
The Eterran now...
the void shall be banished, and I, Lucian the Divine, shall return from the dead. A false divine, of course.
The plan is almost...
We have made so many sacrifices.
Decide. Be the true hero and...
There is no other way. We only lack you.
As I say, one last good.
The world shall not know.
We already have...
Another sacrifice I was forced to make. Alexander was...
The task of...
And me.
Then let us show some...
You'll be a hero. Everyone will know of the sacrifice you'll make. Your name will be synonymous... I understand. Your sacrifice.
I'm sorry. You've come such...
fails to rise. But the weight of his own pain...
My time is done. But you...
Dallas groaned.
I have failed. The future of all that is rests on your shoulders.
After all that you have been through, and all that you have done, all that you have become, the Aeteran lies in front of you. Or to what you do next, what shall you do with Divinity?
And so it ended. A tale that began with my own ill-fated attempt to rid the world of the Godwoken. Dallas the Hammer, the secret eternal, purged the Godwoken and used the Source to close the veil to the void. The world was saved. Statues in memory of the Godwoken who sacrificed their Source were erected all across Rivellon. They would never be forgotten. The half-demon Malady took pity on the soulless, God-woken silent monks and brought them to the Hall of Echoes. There, from the scraps of their souls that remained, she restored them to life. Sorcerers no more, they lived out the rest of their lives, freed of the burden of being the God-woken, freed from the weight of the world. As for me, I was already free, and so were the others. The God-woken sacrifice severed the bond between the Sworn and the God-King. To atone for my sins, I spent the rest of my days taking care of the sick and elderly, telling the story of the God-woken, that the world may never forget the greatest heroes Rivellon had ever known.
Malady stands
Ah, there you are. More than a Where did I go wrong? Ugh. I'd been counting on sacrificing my health and happiness for a future god, you know. Never mind.
She fingers the mask covering her face.
We've come a long way together.
She looks you up.
I guess this will take a moment. Why don't relax, enjoy. I certainly plan to do the same. The same way I do everything, of course. Oh, I don't know. Perhaps our paths will cross again. Until we find... If you'll excuse me,
Well, well, look what the cat dragged. To be fair, you are barely more powerful than what...
There's nothing interesting down.
The flaming hatchling... It takes you a moment to realize the egg you've been carrying has... The chick's joyous flutters... Beast spirit...
Hear the wild, the cupboard...
He pauses.
Are you okay?
No more swords, no more powers. Don't worry, darling. I know you have plenty of other qualities. Reform my ways. How adorable.
Her eyes flick down to your mouth. She smiles coyly, then slinks forward to kiss you. Her mouth meets yours and devours you with predatory abandon. Somewhere in the recesses of your mind, you think you hear her voice sigh, mine. But then the kiss ends.
Something to remember me by, darling. Who knows? A nice cottage someplace quiet for Mahalia and I. A roaring fire and a feather bed. Maybe. Maybe. But a girl needs some...
Lucia looks at you intently. A slight grin crosses the...
I always thought that those who resorted to a world without source is one that will need individuals of wit and intellect. A sharp mind is the only magic now. I believe I shall that is the question, isn't it? No, of course you wouldn't. It's a written language. I intend to seek them out. This Gustafjan seems to guard...
The squirrel smiled. The purging that once silenced you remains on your mind as you approach Gareth. You are grateful for...
Amazing, I'm still here. I only did what I was meant to do.
Gareth shakes his...
Self-pity is as dangerous as any man.
Aside from...
Time. Time has a... Lucian doesn't need... I find a way, so I find out.
Seville spirit tips.
It gives me almost as much pleasure to speak to you as it does to be whole again. I will always be an ally to those that carry swords. I am at the ready.
She is full of surprises. I feel better than...
You look out to the endless beyond. The sun's light plays upon the waves, just as it always did. The sails flutter in the wind, just as they always will. And yet, something is different. You are different. And with a start, you realize where you must go next. You speak the command to the Lady Vengeance, and another chapter begins. At last, the world was at peace. The ancient Lizard Empire opened its gates. The houses disbanded, and the Empire adopted a pluralist quasi-democracy. Anyone could vote for whoever they pleased, as long as the House of Shadows approved. Justinia returned to her throne. Under her rule, the Dwarven kingdom prospered, until 2 years later, a jealous lover stabbed her in the heart with a mutton fork. Lucian made amends to the elves. He gave them lands and vast riches from the coffers of the old divine order. But the elves never forgave him. They would not trust humans again. And in a dark forest on the far side of a desert, well beyond the high seas, the Black Ring came together once more. The island of Fort Joy, the old redoute of the Source King Brachus Rex, was turned over to the people of Driftwood to use as they wished. They turned it into a holiday resort. Reaper's Coast prospered. The fisheries returned, and the fertile farmlands produced the greatest harvests the surviving farmers had ever seen. Blood Moon Island became particularly fecund, its soil producing the greatest crops. A particularly crimson-fleshed orange grown on the island became a delicacy across half the world. The black pits took fire. The oil there burns still. Driftwood became a centre of industry, trade, and transport. Lohar became mayor, and Brayton Barnes grew rich until, after a public argument over import duties, Barnes died in an accident, buried under several tons of fish, and also stabbed in the back with a gutting knife. Your lizard lover finally returned to the ancient lizard empire, there to found the newest and most popular of all the houses, the House of Love. Lagan left his over-demanding wife and began a relationship with a local bard. In the spirit of loving generosity, he returned the ring to his now ex-wife. In a fit of rage, she threw it into the sea. You would never forget Dorothea's kiss. Dorothea herself left Driftwood for the ancient empire, ever in search of the perfect kiss. She never found it, although once or twice she came close. The nameless isle had vanished. Although only open water remained, by instinct ships would steer clear. None of the captains could articulate why. Sir Gareth thanked the surviving Seekers for their service and gave them their freedom. Disillusioned with peace, he set out alone to find a new purpose. He would never stop seeking. Young Han went into the theatre and became one of the realm's most popular actors. Almira and Mihaly settled down on the farm. The locals liked and respected Almira. She never wanted for help, and deals always fell to her favor. She presumed she had them in thrall. The truth was, they just liked her. With no new divine, Malady found herself in a predicament. She had an important problem to solve, but no ally strong enough to call upon, and so her search continued. Having performed the greatest act of necromancy in history, Tarquin found the new world unchallenging. He became obsessed with rumors of another plane of existence. One day he vanished and was never seen again. Ahu the Wizard became one of Lucian's most trusted advisors once more. He always knew that something had changed in the divine. He never discovered what that was, or, if he did, he never said a word. With Amadia silent, the priestess Gratiana left the swamps and re-entered the world. She founded an abbey in the Dragonspine Mountains, offering the last of the undead shelter from fortune hunters, novelty seekers, and ghouls. Jehan the demon hunter found himself at a loose end, so he opened a museum of demonic artifacts. He made a fortune. Lucian returned as divine, united the races, and became Lord Emperor of all Rivellon. Only Dallis knew that he was entirely powerless. Dallis and you. The Eternal, now known as Dallis, was a secret advisor to Lucian and to his successors. For eons she would walk in the world, and would outlive the peoples and all, and wander alone amongst the dying stars. And then there was you. In a world of peace, you could live forever. Your future was yours to decide. But you were a sorcerer no more. Did you accept your new status with gratitude, or did you rebel? Only you know the truth, you and one other. But of him you are free. The God King no longer calls your name. He no longer whispers your shame. Only you know if you atone for your sins.
to me, the night is dark. Come to me, the night is long. Sing for me, I'll sing along. Sing for me, oh sing for me. Sway with me, we'll make them scream. Dance with me, we'll